It's the end of the month, so we decided to do our July wrap up and our August TBR in the same video. I think I read a good amount of books in July. I wanted to read books that I knew were going to be 5-star reads, and then I stopped doing that. Just because I have so many books to get to. When books are available for me on Libby, I just immediately start reading those. So then I stopped doing the whole 5-star read thing. But I think it was a pretty good reading month for me.
I don't think it was too bad of a reading month for myself. I think some of the books I read earlier in the month took me a lot longer than I was anticipating. So it's not that I was getting into a slump, it just took me a really long time to get through some of them. So I don't think I got to all the books I wanted to read this month, but the ones I did read, I did enjoy.
So let's get into all of the books that we read in July, and then we'll go over our August TBR. So one that I was pretty impressed with is The Lightning Bottles by Marissa Stapley. This is one of those where the Libby audiobook became available for me, so I immediately stopped everything else and started this book. And I was up until like 4 a.m. just completely locked into this book, and I hardly ever feel that way, which is horrible. But whenever that does happen, it's just like the best feeling ever. I did go into this one not even knowing what it was about. I really loved the 90s vibe. The writing did remind me of Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau, which I absolutely loved as well. This definitely helped pull me out of my slump, but I do think I was expecting a little bit more from the ending, which is the same way that I felt about Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. So I don't know if the writers are friends or something, but it was really giving like the same type of vibe for me. Very good though. I ended up giving it a 4-star. Highly recommend.
So a book that I read this month is A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. This is my first book by this author, and I really enjoyed it. In this one, Ricky Wilde leaves her old life in the South to start fresh in Harlem, and there she falls into an unexpected magical romance. I love that this has a magical realism aspect to it, and this story really had everything. There's like a little bit of a mystery, a romance, historical fiction. It was everything that I thought it was going to be. Super intriguing and entertaining. I gave it 4 stars. Definitely unique one.
I finally read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I can't believe it took me so long to finally get around to reading this one, but of course I loved it. I love all of her books. I do think this one specifically wasn't like my top read of hers, but it was still up there. I love that all of her romance books have a little bit more depth and like a lot more deeper things going on than just a basic romance. I love that that's like a constant theme in all of her books. The small town in this was giving me Virgin River vibes. I also really love Virgin River. It was a good time, and I liked seeing all the different characters where I kind of like remembered them from other books as well. This was another 4-star read for me.
The first book I read in July is Where Sleeping Girls Lie by the same author that wrote Ace of Spades, which we both loved. In this one, our main character, Sade, transfers to a new boarding school, and when her mysterious roommate goes missing, she's pulled into this web of secrets and lies. While I did love the setting, for some reason this book took me like 2 weeks to finish. It was actually a lot darker than I was expecting. There's lots of twists and turns. I definitely could not predict anything that was going to happen. I really enjoyed it, but it was also super drawn out and had like a couple plot holes. Normally I don't notice those, but in this one I had like a lot of questions that I feel like went unanswered. I think once you get about 60% of the way through, things do start picking up, and I think this had the potential to be so freaking good. It just kind of missed the mark for me. I still enjoyed it, but not as much as I enjoyed Ace of Spades.
I ended up reading The Art of Catching Feelings by Alicia Thompson. So cute. It is a baseball romance, and I thought as a baseball girly that would be right up my alley, and in a lot of ways it was, because I loved all the baseball talk and I thought the chemistry between these two were really cute, but it was kind of really cheesy, just in ways that I kept thinking like, well, that would never happen. I still thought it was an entertaining read, and I would be interested in reading something else from this author, but I went ahead and gave this one a 3.5 star.
I also read like a contemporary romance book this month, and it was The Summer Girl by Elle Kennedy. This one was a little bit last minute for me. I was just looking at my shelf and I felt like I needed a little palette cleanser from everything that I had been reading, so I decided to pick this one up. I did read the first book in the series. I think I skipped the second, but you don't really have to read it in order. They just reference characters from the previous books. In this one, our main character does go to Avalon Bay, where this entire series is set in, and she was planning on having a carefree summer, but then she ends up having feelings for this off-limits local who is not looking for a relationship. This was just one of those that was super quick and easy to read, lighthearted. I was caught off guard by the amount of like family drama that was unfolding, but I really enjoyed that aspect. I also liked the romance itself. I ended up giving this a 3.5.
Okay, I also read Before We Were Innocent by Ella Berman. This one we both just got from BookOutlet, and in this one there's 3 best friends, and 10 years ago they go on this vacation and only 2 of them make it out of that vacation alive. This was definitely more of a general fiction type of vibe though, and I'm so glad that I knew that before going into it, because I think if I didn't know that I would be expecting a lot more of like the mystery and uncovering what happened. This was just one of those books where I didn't love any of the characters that much, so I wasn't really connected to anyone, but I was still really entertained. I just felt like it was missing a little bit of something. So I gave it a 3.5 star. It was a solid read. Nothing too special though.
I finally read The Dinner List by Rebecca Searle. I feel like I've had this for quite a while and it just took me a really long time to read, but this was the perfect time for me to read it. In this story, our main character Sabrina finds herself at a dinner with the 5 guests, living or dead, that she once chose to be on her dream guest list. And she basically just has to confront like love, her past, trauma, and the choices that shaped her. I think this was such a unique concept, and I love that we just jumped right into the story. This was a quick, heartfelt story that was able to be both heartwarming and heartbreaking. It's one of those that even though it's so short, like it's gonna stick with me for a while. I definitely want to read more of this author. I ended up putting another one of her books on my August TBR.
I finally ended up reading Sandwich by Catherine Newman. This one I saw a lot of people talking about, and it was one of those that was like displayed at Barnes & Noble, so I was really excited to read this. And we're basically just following a family that goes to Cape Cod every year for the summer. There's not much of a plot. It's just that. It's just this family. There was some relatable moments, but most of the time we're just following the mom and just how she feels about like the kids growing up and things like that. So I don't know if maybe it would hit harder for like an older woman who could kind of relate to this. It was a solid read. I gave it 3 stars. I just think someone else would appreciate this a little bit more.
Another book I read this month was The Summer We Ran by Audrey Ingram. I was super excited to read this book because the story starts off and we're following 2 people who had this secret teenage love affair back in 1996. We then fast forward 25 years later and both of these people are unexpectedly running against each other for governor, and their past definitely comes back to haunt them. I loved that concept. I love the idea that we're gonna see these 2 meet when they're teenagers. We get to follow like their whole summer of love and then now like see how awkward it is. I thought we would get a lot of like banter. It was definitely not what I was expecting. I should have known it was gonna be a bit political because they are both running for governor, meaning they're on opposing sides. They have opposing opinions and views. But as the story went on, I started liking it less and less. Specifically our male main character, there were a lot of political beliefs that he had that I just did not love, and I was gonna look past that, but some of the things ended up being like repeatedly brought up and impacted the plot a little bit, and by the end of the book I was just completely turned off of it at that point. I personally just didn't really enjoy this book. I didn't even want to give it a rating. Not the best book of July for me.
I did reread We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han because we all know the last season is coming out. The new episode just came out, by the way, so we gotta watch it. I got the same feelings that I've had since middle school, Team Conrad Girly forever, and I just really hope that the show does it justice. We'll see.
The next book we both read, and it was our Literal Besties Book Club book, These Summer Storms by Sarah McLean. In this book, a family of billionaires are each given a task in order to inherit their father's fortune. I think the problem is we keep choosing literary fiction or contemporary fiction for the book clubs, which is fine, but I don't think it gives us enough chances to like really discuss, because we're really just following this family and listening to their lives and seeing how they interact with each other. It was a good book in my opinion. Like I did like it. I thought it was interesting. I kind of wish it played a little more into the game or tasks they were given. I think it would have been a little more interesting if like they really had to
Do something
like accomplish things in order to get the inheritance. It was kind of like petty tasks that they had. So I did enjoy it. I think we need to just read different genres in the book club. So we could really discuss like a mystery or like a really entertaining dystopian, something like that.
I normally love family dramas, but I don't know, I just couldn't get myself into this one. It just kind of felt like we were thrown into this family and all of their drama was just being attacked at us and I didn't even know whose side to be on or what. And then I felt like the romance was just a little bit forced. Like I just wasn't for that at all. I felt like right when we met him, I was like,
Yeah, I forgot there was a romance.
Right.
I didn't even really love it.
Right. It just felt a little bit forced to me. So I gave it 3 stars. Another solid read. I just didn't love it that much. The last book I read in July is Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. I did just read Same Time Next Summer by this author. I really loved that one. And I also really liked this one. I think I just liked Same Time Next Summer a little bit more. I'm really loving her writing style though. It does remind me a lot of Abby Jimenez, which we all know I also love. This one was another one that was a lot more than just a light beach read romance. It touches on grief and self-discovery and this mom trying to find herself again after her divorce. I really enjoyed all of the emotional layers and all the life lessons that were scattered throughout the book. And I'm just really excited to read more from this author. I gave this one a 3.5, which now looking back seems a little bit rough. I think it should be a 4 because I did like it. So I'm gonna change it to a 4.
So those were all of the books we've already read this month. We are currently both in the middle of books, so we'll just quickly go over that. I'm currently reading You Are Fatally Invited by Ande Puligo, and I am really enjoying it. I mean, I knew I would. I love a locked room mystery, and this is the same type of deal. Like a bunch of authors are invited to this private island, and mysterious things start happening. We're gonna have to figure out who's behind it all. I have high hopes for it. It's reminding me a lot of like Daisy Darker.
I started reading 28 Summers by Ellen Hildebrand. I just knew I needed something to get me out of this little slump that I've been in, and this one is doing a great job of that. We're following this little romance. In the past 28 summers, we're seeing what has happened that has led to this summer in 2020. I do notice that there's a little bit of a cheating theme in here though, and I don't really like that, so I hope like it gets resolved really quickly because I mean I just started it. So hopefully it doesn't stick around the whole book.
Yeah.
But it's good so far.
Alright, so those are all of the books we had to go over for July. Now we're going to go over all of the books we want to read in August. It's kind of like the last warm summer month. Well, that's a lie. I guess it's still warm in September. But for me, this is the last month of summer. September, I'm already in the spooky season mood. So I try to incorporate like the last of the summer books that I had, and I try to pick a couple different genres.
My thought process behind this stack is I have a lot of Aardvark books and Book of the Month books that don't fit on my TBR shelf, so I just was kind of pulling from there and then some other random ones.
So one of the summer books I have here is 7 Summers by Paige Toon. This was another one that we just recently got in our most recent book outlet order. I'm really excited for this one. I do believe it's a romance, and we follow the same couple, Liv and Finn, meet working at a bar, and when a night of passion ends in a devastating tragedy, their hearts are bound together. Finn's life is in LA with his band, and Liv's is in Cornwall with her family, so they make a promise. Finn will return every year, and if they are single, they will spend the summer together. I love that. I love it. Why though would they not just want to have a long distance relationship? I'm not sure, but I do love it whenever we have a book where they only see each other like once a year and they have to catch up on everything that's happened. So I'm really excited for it. I hope that I love it.
I do really want to read The Memory Collectors by Deet Mezer. I just got this one from Aardvark, I think last month, and I remember the plot sounds very interesting. It says, what would you do if you could spend an hour in your past? 4 strangers are about to find out. I'm gonna skip all the in-between because I don't want to get too into it, but then the bottom says, when their hour extends beyond 60 minutes, they find themselves stranded in the past. And as their paths intertwine unexpectedly, they unearth shocking secrets hidden in the shadows of their shared history. This sounds like something I need to read right now, something different than all the other stuff I've been reading.
I love like time travel books. I need to know like, can they change things even though they're in the past, or do they just have to relive it?
We're gonna see. You could read it too.
I know, I might have to. I was supposed to read this book last month and I didn't get around to it. It's huge, it's so thick, and it's very intimidating, but this one is Dead of Summer by AJ Merlin. This one is that dark romance book. I just need to read it. I need to read it. It's been so long since I've read a dark romance. I think it'll be entertaining enough. Normally I fly through them. This is the one where they're at a camp, they're camp counselors, and I think the guy wants to kill all the campers or something, and she has to like strike a deal. Like, please, no, don't kill them. I'm hoping it's really good and not cheesy.
The next one I want to read is The House of Last Resort by Christopher Golden. This one I want to read now because my audiobook is ready for me to listen to on Libby, and I know this book is turning into a movie adaptation with Michael B. Jordan's production company. I remember we read the synopsis a while ago and it does sound really crazy. I think it's something about like this couple moves into this house and they start realizing that like some crazy gross things are like underneath the house. It says soon they learn that the home was owned from generations by the church, but the real secret and the true dread is unlocked when they finally learn what the priests were doing in the house for all these long years and how many people died in this strange chapel inside. It sounds like a really intense read. I don't know, I want something crazy right now. Like, I need to read something.
That sounds like it.
Yeah. So hopefully this one will be a really good one.
In August, I want to read Never Whistle at Night. This is a dark fiction anthology. There's like over 20 authors that have stories in this, so I feel like it's time to read it. I'm so excited. The back says many Indigenous people believe that one should never whistle at night. These stories are a celebration of Indigenous people's survival and imagination, and a glorious reveling in all the things an ill-advised whistle might summon. I think it's gonna be so good, and since there's so many, I think I could just read a couple every day. Like, I don't have to sit and read through this entire thing in one sitting. So this is one I plan to read like throughout the month.
So I also want to read Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. We did just find the duet at a local library sale. We'll have a video of that coming out soon. But this just seems like a really good time to read this. Because if you know, you know. I just realized I picked a lot of serious books for this month, so I'm sure I'm going to sprinkle in some lighter ones in the month as well. But hopefully I really like this one and then I could just continue on with the second book. I know you read the first one and really liked it.
Since I really loved The Dinner List by Rebecca Searle, I wanted to read Expiration Dates in August. I know you read this one and liked it. I just love the concept. These are kind of magical realism, and I love magical realism books. I think I'm just now putting that together because I loved One Italian Summer as well. But the idea that every guy she meets comes with an expiration date, I'm obsessed with that and I need to know more. I wish that we got expiration dates whenever we got into relationships.
The next book I want to read, we're thinking about having it be our Literal Besties Book Club book for the month, and it is The Compound by Aisling Rowley. I keep seeing crazy things about this book. I know a lot of people say it's like a dystopian type of Love Island. There's going to be all these contestants stuck on an island and they kind of want to stay at the island because the outside world is like crazy. This is just another one where it sounds so intense and I just want to get into it already. And I keep seeing a lot of good things about it, so hopefully it'll be one that we read for our book club.
The last book I have here, I wanted to include a mystery thriller because it feels like it's been a little while. It is Alex North's The Man Made of Smoke. I really loved the other two Alex North books that I have read. I like that he tries to include like paranormal and or supernatural elements to his stories, but then they have really realistic endings. This one says Dan's life has been haunted by the crime he witnessed as a child, narrowly escaping an encounter with a notorious serial killer. He has dedicated his life since to profiling criminals eager to seek justice for innocent victims, so when his father dies under suspicious circumstances, Dan revisits the small island community where he grew up, determined to uncover the truth about his death. I love mystery thrillers. I love stories that are like this, so I hope that I enjoy this one just as much as I've enjoyed his other books.
So those are all the books that we read in July and all of the books that we want to read in August. It's been a pretty good reading year.
I think so.
I just hit my goal of 50.
I did too.
Good.
So we're doing pretty well.
And no pressure.
Yeah. Even if we don't read any more this year, we've already hit our goal. Even though we haven't been posting as often, when we do post, we're trying to make those a little bit longer so it makes up for the lack of shorter videos. But we have some vlogs coming up, and we do want to do a reading vlog this month because it's been a while since we've done one of those. So lots of exciting things coming up. If you are not already a part of our Literal Besties Book Club and you want to join, please do so. That link will be in the description. It's free to join. That's pretty much it though for today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you guys next time.